Hello my fellow human beings. It's it's a rather cloudy day, but I still chose to go into the woods even though there's still some snow leftovers to be found. And I probably sat on a very wet spot of moss, but I just thought this tree and those surroundings were a beautiful spot to share something with you. Oh, and I found this really cool piece of roots. You know, it looks a little like an octopus, and I think it's hollow. Could make some art out of it. Or gift it to my dad. My dad, he's an artist, and he works with wood, and I think he's interested in it. Has some beautiful swirls around here. And I just found it like that, on the side of the road. So not to fool you off, I'm in quite a difficult patch right now, but I still think it's not time to let depression into my home. It's time to keep pushing and time to keep fighting and seeking purpose. I actually made a beautiful video on purpose. I wrote an essay about what I think our purpose on earth is. And I also shot a video with beautiful nature shots, and I started editing it, spent hours and hours editing it, and I deleted it on accident. So I redid it, and I haven't figured out how to put the audio of me reading the essay over the video shots. But if I figure it out, you'll get the video as soon as possible. I literally, I started it 2 weeks ago. Maybe it wasn't the right time. So, my message for today, which I thought about a lot these days, because as you know, currently I'm unemployed. Hopefully not long. I have some jobs that are hopefully gonna happen. And I discovered, because I didn't make any money and child support's cut because I don't currently take part in a education. I will go to university though in autumn, because in Austria university is basically free. It's really cool, like 200 euros for half a year, like a semester. 200. I think I'm like so grateful to live in a country where you can like afford education. And I think every country should do it, obviously. Tell me, how is it in your country? I'm curious to know. I looked at some exchange programs, and it was like, I think, Scotland or something. Because I want to visit the Highlands, like once in my lifetime. And it's like 30,000, like 30,000 for one semester, and that's only the tuition fee. And I was like, this world is going to shit if that's the cost of education. So I'm so grateful to receive education affordably. Which also, gratitude is one thing I found to be very helpful in rather exhausting times. What I wanted to talk is the cost of living. But like in two senses. One sense is like, currently I obviously don't make any money. That's why I stopped consuming basically anything except food and medication. And it's surprisingly freeing. I thought I'm gonna like miss buying clothes because I don't know, I liked clothes, but I started sewing my own clothes out of like bed sheets and stuff, and I just stopped consuming. And it was so, at first it was odd. I was like, well, there were weird feelings walking by, I don't know, a cafe and knowing you can't go in because you're currently not making any money, and that's, I don't know, not possible simply. And I hope someday I'm at a point where I can afford that again. I think there's somebody hunting, or I heard a shot. But in Austria, nobody owns guns except like hunters, so people who hunt. And not anybody can hunt. You have to have a license and you have to be hired by the state. So no need to be scared. And back to the cost of living. And I hope sometime I am at a point where I can go into a cafe and enjoy something. I can only go currently if I'm invited by someone. Or if I put something to the side, And now, putting that aside, I hope I can do that someday again, and I wish everybody to enjoy like those little moments. But when it comes to consumption itself, it's freeing, because the cost of living is so more complex. It's not like, oh, how much can I blah 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 to afford food, to afford whatever. The cost of living is how much time am I willing to sacrifice for this or this or this. And it's a cycle. Capitalism is really trying to capture us, and I only notice that in that extent now that I don't have to take part, or that I can't really take part in capitalism that way. The food we eat. They sell us food that makes us sick, and now I'm talking like about not food, like I enjoy a cookie every now and then, but like fast food and all of that. They're selling it cheap to make us sick, so we have to pay medical bills again. And it's more than that. They tell us they tell us that we have insecurities we would never have. I think that's a squirrel, actually. We would never have if we weren't told that we have it. For example, now talk about like body hair. Women are told to like buy razors and be like, I don't know, cleanly shaven. But that wasn't even in until like the 50s. I don't know, nobody cared about it before, but they told us it needs to be that way. And I think capitalism and the patriarchy is working hand in hand, because that is a patriarchal interest and a capitalist interest. They want women especially to feel under pressure to buy stuff, and it gives power to men, and it gives power to, like, I'm not saying men, like, there are good men out there obviously, but like men that have not the best interest in mind for women. I with makeup, like, I respect if people want to wear makeup. It makes them feel good, it makes them feel confident, but in that extent that is happening today, the expectation that wasn't there like before, only in like the higher classes. Now looking at medieval times, maybe the lords and ladies were, I don't know, all wearing makeup, not only women. And I think we live in a beautiful time, because slowly like the harsh lines that have been put between men and women that restrict people are like slightly fading out, bleeding out. And I'm not saying men and women are the same. They are different, but I think we can accept difference, but still leave it up to everyone individually if they want to do something or what they want to do something. And we shouldn't treat each other differently just because of gender. I've often experienced like misogyny. Maybe they didn't even hate women, but they had just this perception she doesn't know. For example, I was like in this museum and I was with a guy, and I was asking like this guy in the museum something, and he was straight up talking to the guy next to me, and I was like, excuse me, I asked you a question, I'm pretty sure he's not interested in, I don't know, archaeology or something, because that's just not what he's into. But I ask, can you please talk to me? Or I don't know, straight up being suggested for a position that's like rather traditionally female. Yeah. So capitalism is selling you stuff that you don't really need. They're just making money off your insecurities. And I myself, now coming back to makeup, I myself don't wear much makeup because I have extremely sensitive skins and I get like rashes from everything that's not, I don't know, nature. And I think it's, as I already said, nice that like women want to express themselves and men through makeup, and they see it as an art form or a form of like resistance. For example, the red lipstick has been seen as an art of resistance, but I, for myself, like to put myself out there bare, like my face, because I don't know, it makes me feel more like myself and like I'm not hiding something. But still, on special occasions, you know, you like the little bit of eyeliner. But like in this extent it's happening today, you're told to buy stuff you don't really need, because I think every human being is beautiful. And I'm not saying this like, oh, every human being is beautiful, blah 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 blah. I'm saying it because I mean it, but maybe that's just my perception. I've never seen someone and thought, oh, you're hot in the perception of society, I want to treat you better. But most people do, honestly. Like, pretty privilege is a thing. I've experienced it. Like, I had short hair for a really long time, and now I have like long hair. Like, it's not long, it's going up to here. And I experienced being treated differently with short hair, which is not good. So I don't know, this video has lost its my main topic, but I'm just yapping about capitalism and how I think we should approach this thing, or how we could be aware of the cost of living. Now back to the cost of living in a spiritual way is, I didn't really finish the capital, like my mind is just going. I don't have ADHD, I really don't. I got tested, but still my mind is making very weird jumps right now. So now I'm just looking at the piece of art again. Sorry about that, guys. The cost of living spiritually is life. We're put on this planet. I myself believe that we are souls hidden in the human body, and that we choose our battles, that we choose the like harsh outlines of our life. We choose the circumstances, the people that are gonna be our parents, our siblings, our surroundings. We're gonna choose the challenges we're gonna face. And I think every soul only takes on the battles they can carry. Now the cost of living. In order to experience the good that is ahead of us, we have to experience the bad. That's the cost of living. The cost of being alive and being able to experience emotions, being able to live through this experience as a human being in the circumstances you're in, whatever that may be, is the suffering, is the pain, the fear, the feeling of not knowing anything, the feeling of being like alien a little bit. And I think the more you, I don't want to say awake, because it's like a weird term from like spiritual people use sometimes. Like, the more you awake, the more, I don't know, something. But I would say getting conscious, or it's a weird term, because I always felt like when people were saying, so yeah, nobody's saying, oh, I'm so awoke and I'm so high on my spiritual level, because it makes them look cocky. You don't want to listen to someone who sounds cocky. It makes you feel stupid. It makes you feel small. So I'd rather say that it is, the more you go into the topic and the more you want to know what's behind and how to live a good life. Yeah, that's my explanation for the word awakening. Because you're not awakening, it's not like you wake up and something's different. You just navigate through life and you discover something here, discover something there, and like every lesson and every suffering, every laughter you share brings you a little closer to who you actually are, even though it doesn't feel like it at all, even though it feels like you're stuck since months, even though you like want to shout at yourself and say, fucking do something, I feel so stuck. But it's really the cost of living. If you wanna have the joy, or if you wanna have the hope and possibility of, I don't know, think about something that is so like dear to your heart, a dream you never dare to articulate. I don't know. For me, it is being an inspiration, being a teacher. I think I want to be a teacher. Pretty sure about that. And if you want that to happen, that beautiful thing, you have to take all the shit that's in that way as well. You get the possibility, though, if you take that shit, to learn how to deal with it. For example, some of you may have watched different videos from me. There I talked about ending my volunteering position in Ireland, and it was so shit. I was never in such a desperate situation. I prayed to every god, like every religion. I talked to every single god of them, even though I think they're all one person. But I addressed every god, and I was so desperate and so in pain. And still, I took that, and I got the opportunity to learn from it, even though it was painful. And if you want this beautiful thing that you desire most, if you want to find out what this beautiful thing is that you desire most, you have to take the shit and the pain, the suffering, the darkness that is like lying in this way that isn't visible yet, and take it. Be grateful for it, even though in the situation you're like, what the hell am I supposed to be grateful for? I feel like, I don't know, God has failed me. I feel like this world has failed me. I feel like I failed myself. But it's important in that situation to not let the walls you build around yourself crash together on top of yourself. It's important in that situation to see this too shall pass. Like, this saying is one of the most important sayings ever. This too shall pass. Because, first of all, it lets you calm down in a situation of despair. It lets you know, okay, this too shall pass. It's not gonna be forever. In beautiful situation, it's this too shall pass is a reminder to be present. It's like the most important quote ever, maybe. I don't know. Never say ever never, so maybe it's not the most beautiful quote ever, but for me it's very profound. And yeah, the cost of living is taking all that pain and holding it. Hold yourself in dark times. Hold the darkness itself and let it hold you, but be aware that it's gonna pass. And that's the cost of living. The cost of living is going through pain in order to see beauty. And sometimes it looks like it's really not worth it, and sometimes it looks like a cycle, an endless cycle. And that's really life. It's a cycle. There are gonna be so many good times, so many bad times, and you're stuck in between, and you need to acknowledge that it's always gonna like, bad moments are gonna come, good moments are gonna come. That's the cost of living and the cost of being here. But in dark times, hold the darkness. Be aware that it's gonna leave. It's not gonna be there forever. And be aware that the next time this darkness has come, you have one more experience of it passing. You know, humans, we learn from experiences. Or cows or whatever. Cows know not to go to the fence, like the electro fence, because it's like, gives them a snap. And it's painful. And maybe they do it once, they do it twice, they say, oh, it's painful. I don't do it, I'm not gonna do it. But it's not like that. It's like, you learn algorithms. For example, I don't know, animals that are petting zoo, they know if they're like going to people, they're gonna get food. And it's like that. You see darkness, and you acknowledge it, you hold it, you tell yourself it's gonna pass, and then it passes, and you see, oh, it really passed. And then the next time there's darkness, You can hold it and see, oh, I've experienced it before. It's okay, it's gonna pass. And you learn ways to deal with that. You learn ways to still keep like this little flame in you alive. You learn ways to communicate it, and it's really gonna be fine in the end. And that's the cost of living. Learning is the cost of living. Having to learn how to deal with the darkness. And I'm gonna call it just like every experience that made you feel helpless or something like that, darkness. It's just an overall term. Yeah, that's my lesson for today. The cost of living. Even though I kind of sidetracked off half the time, but I hope you got the point. And it's something I need to learn myself as well. That this too shall pass. Hold the darkness and you're gonna be fine. The cost of living sometimes may be high, but there's so many people on this planet who prove that it's worth it, and if you give it a shot and give it a try, I'm sure, I promise you, because I believe that we chose our battles and we chose this way, your life. There's gonna be so much beauty and it's gonna be worth it. You're gonna be a millionaire in happy moments. Just because. No, you're gonna be a billionaire in happy moments just because you agreed to be a millionaire in sad moments. You know, there's more happy than sad always. And it's just a process. And now my ass is getting pretty cold because the ground is still frozen, so I'm gonna go home. But I love each and every one of you. Being human is so confusing. But knowing that there are more people who think it's also confusing gives me hope. Okay, bye. You're loved. You're beautiful in spirit. And you're not alone. Hack the darkness and tell yourself this too shall pass, and the most beautiful times are ahead.